Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. Recently I watched a video of Benjamin Creme giving a lecture back in '96, and I picked up on something that I didn't really think too much about the first time I heard this, when he said this. And what he was talking about was, at the time of the recording of that video, like I said, in '96, there was, I think it was Newsweek, did a poll, and they asked the people that they were, polling, do you think that you've had angel experiences, or do you believe you've had an angel, encounter or experience or something like that? And he said that 65 or 70% of the people that were asked that question believed that they had had some kind of angelic experience. Now, not all polls are 100% correct, so let's just take that by half even, right? Half the people didn't really have anything really happen, but they might have believed it, or that, whatever, right? But the other half really did have some kind of angelic sighting or help from an angel or whatever. Well, that's 1 out of every 3 people. Now, I've asked enough people in my life, family, friends, people that I've, during lectures when I'm talking about this, or just, people that I happen to work with or whatever. And I would say that number is probably pretty close. About 1 out of every 3 people that I've spoken with about this have claimed to have some kind of help from an angel, right? Now, I've also asked people if they look like a typical angel, right? With golden hair, blue eyes, alabaster skin, long robe, big white wings and stuff. And I can't think of anybody that said they look like that. And so I would assume that if that's true, right, if that kind of translates to this poll, that very few people would have said that they look like that. Now, if you asked those people, just like I've asked the people in my life and my own experiences, right, what do they look like? Well, they look like you or me. Or they look like ordinary people, right? They could be any race, man, woman, tall, young, short, fat, doesn't matter. But yet, when you ask that same person, and people have asked me, well, what makes you think you saw Maitreya when you did, or whatever, right? And I'll say, well, because he didn't come out and say he was Maitreya, right, or whatever, right? Or he didn't look extraordinary or do anything really extraordinary. What was it about him that made you think that it was Maitreya? Well, I can translate that question to this poll, right? Well, what would you make, if you were asking these people, what would you make that you think that they were angels, right? And they probably would give you the same answer, because most of the time when I've talked to people about this stuff, and they think they've been helped by an angel, well, they kind of give me the same answer that I give people when I've been asked that question. Well, there was something about that guy that just seemed out of the ordinary, whether it was his presence or her presence or what they said or how they said it or whatever. It impacted me in a way, not only then, but even to this day, it's helped me along, right? Or I was thinking about something, or I was troubled about something, and here comes this stranger, in whatever venue it happens to be, comes out of nowhere and starts talking to me about this and helps me through that problem or whatever, makes me realize that problem isn't that big of a deal, or whatever happens to be, right? Now, also taking it a step further, right? Well, myself and others, like Benjamin Creme, but a lot of other people, don't think that these people who are having angel experiences are having angel experiences from a true, what we would think an angel to be, golden hair, big wings, that kind of stuff. So who are these angels, right? Well, what we're thinking is, and what we're saying it is that they're the masters that are doing it. One or other of these masters, whether it's Maitreya or the Master Jesus or one of these other masters, are the ones that we are calling angels, that are coming in our time of greatest need and helping us at that moment, right? Whether it's an accident or a natural disaster, or even, like I said, something's troubling your own life, and here comes this person and, sits on the park bench right next to you, starts talking, or on the bus and starts talking to you about it, or on the plane or something, starts talking to you about it, and you hadn't spoken about it to anybody, and here's this person is talking to you about this, helping you, giving you advice, or whatever it happens to be, right? And you're like, wow, that was extraordinary. I wonder if that was an angel, right? But the other thing is, and I want to talk about myself for just a second, but one of the reasons why I'm putting up these videos now is to help people to start to connect the dots, because I think that the reason why people aren't speaking out more about this is because they aren't connecting the dots with this story, or they're not connecting it with the UFOs or Maitreya being on TV or whatever, right? So somebody might be helped by an angel, think it's an angel, and then they don't think to even talk about it because they felt it was just for something for them at that time, right? Or if they speak out about it, well, then it will lose its realness to them, because somebody will shoot it down or something. Oh, that was nothing. That's just an ordinary person, right? It happens all the time, right? And then they will feel, like, wow, now it's cheap in some kind of way, right? Or something, I don't know. Or they might feel like it just confirms their own belief. So, like, for instance, if you're a Protestant or a Catholic and you have this angel sighting, it's just, like I said, it looks like a normal person, but they helped you in some kind of crisis or whatever, you might think it had to do with the fact that you were a Christian that happened. And it kind of confirms your own beliefs. But you might not realize or think to realize that somebody all the way on the other side of the world in the Middle East who does not believe the same thing that you do might have had the same kind of experience with something that they might not have necessarily called him an angel. I don't know what they would call him, God's representative, whatever, I don't know. But help them along in a way, or in a crisis or a natural disaster or something like that, right? Because if 1 out of every 3 people in the world are having these things, these experiences, then they're happening all over the world. And so we have to kind of look at it like that and take it seriously, like, wow. And then we have to ask the question, well, who or what is behind this? Now, if you're a Christian, of course, you're saying, well, it's Jesus or God or whatever, these angels doing it, right? Well, that may or may not have been the case if it was just happening with Christians. But what about the Muslims? What about the Hindus that have had their own experiences? What about people like myself who don't have any particular religious faith at all, but yet have those kind of experiences? My experiences with angels is not confirming the Christian belief. None of the times that I've had these angel experiences have they ever once brought up Christianity or the need to convert to Christianity, to be a Christian or whatever like this. It's all helped me during that time. So is it confirming anybody's beliefs? Well, I guess people would believe it to be. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard for people to think outside their little paradigm. And I think that's really what the problem is in terms of relating it to this. But, people won't look at an angel visitation or being helped by an angel to have anything to do with crop circles. You know what I'm saying? But yet they're completely related and they're completely linked. And they don't seem to think that, well, if 1 out of every 3 people are having these experiences in the world, but yet the world is still dysfunctional and messed up, why is it going on now? Right? And so we have to ask these questions. And the other reason why I'm putting it up is because to help, like I said, help remind people, like, hey, maybe if 1 out of every 3, well, then 1 out of every 3 people that have heard this video have had some kind of angels, been helped by angels. Now, like I said, I don't think they're necessarily angels. I think they're masters of wisdom, or Maitreya or the Master Jesus. They're the ones that are doing the helping. They're the angels, really. It's just that we don't have any other name for them yet, right? But that will change, right? And then, like I said, before I end this video, just to take it a step further, well, Maitreya being on TV and millions of people seeing him but not recognize him, I think it's the same reason that nobody's spoken out about it, is because they can't relate the two together yet. It's still kind of fragmented to them. And here's this person on TV. They might even think he's quite extraordinary, but yet he's not presenting himself as anything special. So, of course, you're not thinking him as anything special. But again, it's Maitreya's way of doing things. He doesn't advertise like that. He wants you to want for the world. He wants you to want peace. He wants you to want the ending of war. He wants you to share. He wants you to want justice for the world and so forth. He wants you to want the environment to be clean and sustainable for future generations. He wants you to want that. It's not a question of recognition. It's a question of what you want, right? What's important to you. And that's why he's saying those things. But it all goes back to the same kind of thing about these angel sightings, is that all these people are having all these experiences. I'm not alone. Benjamin Creme is not alone. I might look like a total goofball by doing this, or I get called all sorts of names and comments from, stuff that would keep my mom up at night if people thought that about her son, right? But
I can take it because I know where people are coming from, and I know that they don't, it's not personal to me. It's just that they're triggered about something because it's against what they believe. But we're all talking about the same thing. It's all one thing. And that's, we're all talking about this stuff. It's just, we're all talking about it in a different way, really. So I just wanted to kind of share that. But,
And as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.